In this video we're going to look at something called polar or modulus argument form. They're basically two equivalent names for the same thing. Now take this number that we've looked at before, this complex number 4 plus 3i. So on my Argand diagram, 4 along and 3 up, here it is. So here's z. Now we've seen that the modulus and the argument of this number are useful concepts. And in the last video what we saw is the modulus of this number was 5 and the argument of this number was 0.644. So polar form or modulus argument form is simply expressing a number rather than in the a plus bi form simply as its modulus and its argument. Because if you know a complex number's modulus and its argument, you know everything there is to know about this number. If I know that its argument is 0.644 and I know its length is 5, then I know where this point is. And there are two ways of doing this. The first is simply to list them like this. You put the modulus first, you put the argument second, and that is a way of writing it. Now I know this looks like coordinates, but it's clear in the context of almost all questions when you're describing a complex number in polar form rather than, say, coordinates of 5 along and 3 up, 5 along and 0.644 up. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is to split the number up into its components. Now let me show you how this works. I know that the hypotenuse of this triangle is 5. Now I also know that this length down at the bottom is 4 and the length up here is 3. Of course that's how we got here in the first place. It was 4 plus 3i. But suppose I didn't know that and I wanted to work out this component. How would I do it? Well, I would use trigonometry and I would say that the real part was 5 times cos of 0.44. So I could say the real part is 5 cos 0.644 and the imaginary part is 5 times sine of 0.644 times I. So I could say that's 5i times sine 0.644. So this is one way to describe z. Finally what I can do is I can factorise out the modulus, and what I've got is cos 0.644 plus I sine 0.644. Now I know this looks somewhat messy, but this trigonometric form of modulus argument form is pretty useful. Now to generalise, let's say we've got a complex number with a modulus of r and an argument of theta. We would write it like this. The kind of shorthand version would be a modulus of r and an argument of theta. The slightly longer way, which is also pretty useful, would be to have it as your modulus multiplied by cos theta plus I sine theta. So this is a really useful way to represent complex numbers. You'll see why soon. But if you have a modulus r and an argument theta, representing it in the shorthand here or in the long form of r modulus times cos theta plus I sine theta, where theta is the argument, is how we do it. So let's try that in a few more cases. So let's express the following complex numbers in modulus argument form. And we'll do this in both the short and the long way. So 2 minus 3i. So I always, even if I didn't have this graph, this space here, I'd always sketch this out. So 2 minus 3i. 2 along, 3 down. Here is my complex number on the Argand diagram. So the two things I need are the modulus and the argument. Well, the modulus is simply Pythagoras on the real and the imaginary parts. So it's the square root of 2 squared plus 3 squared. Don't worry about positives and negatives for this. 4 plus 9 is 13, it's root 13. So there's the modulus. What about the argument? Well, it's this angle, and it's going to be a negative number. So I'll just work it out as a positive number first, and then write it negative at the end. So thinking about this triangle we've got here, I'm going to draw it over here. Just think about the lengths for now. It's 2 along and 3 down. Again, don't worry about positives and negatives. And so what we can say is tan theta is 3 over 2. So for me to work out the argument, well, I'll just work out theta for now. It's inverse tan of 3 over 2, which is 0.983. So my argument is actually going to be minus 0.983. So now I can represent it in modulus argument form. The shorthand would be to say it's the modulus, comma, and then the argument minus 0.983. The slightly longer way would be to say it's the modulus root 13, and then it's cos of theta minus 0.983 plus I sine of minus 0.983. And so there it is in modulus argument form. And you can leave it like that, that's totally fine. What you'll sometimes see people do is, well, since cos of minus 0.983 is the same as cos of positive 0.983, you'll sometimes see people do sort of sneaky things like this. So that's the same as cos of 0.983, because cos is what we call an even function, whereas if you put a negative number in, it's the same as putting a positive number in. And sine has the opposite property, where if you do sine of a negative number, it's the same as minus sine of the positive. So you'll sometimes see this, but this isn't actually modulus argument form. This is modulus argument form, where it's crystal clear that we have the modulus on the outside and we have the argument inside here. Okay, let's look at minus 5 plus 5i. So minus 5 plus 5i, that's all the way up here. So the modulus of this, we're just going to do Pythagoras on 5 and 5. And so when we do that, the square root of 5 squared plus 5 squared is the square root of 50, or 5 root 2. And for the argument, well, it's this angle here. Now, I would always just start with the stuff that's easy to work out, which is this bit here. Give yourself a sketch. It's 5 and 5, so we're looking for this angle. Now, it turns out this is an easy one. It's an isosceles triangle, so that's pi over 4. So that means that this angle all the way around here is pi minus pi over 4. So the argument here is 3 pi over 4, right? Because it's a full straight line with an angle of pi minus that pi over 4 there. So that angle here is 3 pi over 4. So in modulus argument form, we have 5 root 2, comma, 3 pi over 4. And in full trigonometric form, it's 5 root 2, and then cos of the angle, 3 pi over 4, plus I sine of the angle, 3 pi over 4. Okay, finally, let's just practice working the other way. So here we've got numbers expressed in polar form, or modulus argument form, and we want to convert them into x plus iy. So we do that by saying, well, what's this the same as? This is the same as 5 cos of the argument plus I sine of the argument. Now we can work out what's going on in the brackets here, because cos of pi over 3 is a half, and sine of pi over 3 is root 3 over 2. So what we've got is root 3 over 2i. And so we can get this in x plus iy form by expanding. 5 times a half is 5 over 2. And then multiply 5 by root 3 over 2, and it's just 5 root 3 over 2. I. And so here's the number in x plus iy form. How about this one? Well, we do the same thing here. The modulus is 4, and the argument is minus 5/6 pi. So that's cos of minus 5/6 pi plus I sine minus 5/6 pi. And we just need to work out what's going on in the bracket there. So cos of minus 5/6 pi is minus root 3 over 2. And sine of the same thing is minus a half. So that's just, well, not a plus, that's minus half I. Expanded, 4 times negative root 3 over 2 is minus 2 root 3. And 4 times minus a half is minus 2, so minus 2i. And there's our number in x plus iy form. So that's polar or modulus argument form. These are interchangeable terms, and we've seen how we can start with an x plus iy form and convert into modulus argument form, and we can start with modulus argument form and convert into x plus iy.